Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. One step closer to the weekend. I know you all are excited for this morning. We've been talking about this modern granny for a while now. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate that. Cindy says I said sound good over here on YouTube. Hopefully I sound good over here on TikTok too. Hey Shauna, good morning. So y'all, we're going to make the modern granny blanket this morning from scratch. I'm going to start and we're going to make one of these little guys. Obviously, these are in different colors. My Karen cakes came yesterday. My ones I ordered from Michael's. They will forever be called in my mind the squirrel cakes, the cinnamon squirrel cakes. But this is the one I got. We're not making this today, but I am going to start a new blanket with this. So this is one of the flavors that I got. Cinnamon swirl. It's kind of pretty, huh? Berry ripple. Anyhow, I think I'm going to do with this colorway. I started the center, I was just playing around with it this morning. But I think I'm going to do the fiber spider blanket with this, but rectangle size again. But anyhow, since I made this center, I just wanted to give you all a visual of what we're going to do. Now, obviously, I've picked out some different colors this morning. I've selected, I love this yarn. Isn't that pretty? This is the colorway Birchwood Cottage. So I'm going to call this the Birchwood blanket. And to pair with that, because I'm fancy, I've got some Red Heart Super Saver Jumbos. Cafe Latte. Does everybody have their coffee this morning? Hey, Susan, good morning. And of course, another fancy skein here, Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo. And this one is the colorway Aran. I think that's how you say it. So I thought these three colors would look kind of slick together. So I think I'm going to start with the dark brown in the center, and then I'm just going to kind of alternate these colors and let's get this party started, huh? So I'm going to use, I think, an I-9 hook. This one calls for an I-9. And look at that. My center pull worked, y'all. Are you excited? Hannah said I had a chocolate protein shake this afternoon instead of coffee. Well, that's probably better for you, Hannah. I don't know. I got to have my little burst of coffee in the morning here to get me going. So, the way I'm going to start this, if we look at our example here, these are little, I'm going to refer to these as granny clusters. I don't know if that's what they're officially called, but basically to me, a granny cluster is a group of 3 double crochets like this. Okay, so we need to do basically, I'm going to do one, skip 2 stitches, and then do another one. So when you are making your center in a rectangle shape, you need to work in increments of 3. Okay, so for mine here, we've got our starting one here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's how many I did, was 13. And I have heard it said before, and I don't know where I heard this from, but if you're trying to figure out how big to make your rectangle starting, somebody mentioned, and like I said, I don't know who this was from or wherever, but they said if you subtract your width from your length of your blanket, that will tell you how big to make this center part. So, for example, if I'm making a blanket and I want it to be 35 by 45, when I subtract 35 from 45, I'm left with 10 inches. So they said your center part right here, this pink color, should be 10 inches, and that will translate when you get to the end of your blanket for your blanket to be 35 by 45. Okay, so now for me, I have experimented with that mathology. Is that a word? Mathology, it is now. Uh, for me, it does not work. Okay, so when I want a 35 by 45 size, my little center here, I'm looking at the pink here, okay? I have to make it bigger than, sorry, the whole thing, I guess. I don't know. Let's measure it here. I guess it is about 10 inches. So maybe it is right. But that's what I have heard. Okay. So let's say you want your blanket to be 40 by 35 size. Okay. You would subtract 35 from 40. And that would tell you, instead of the 10 inches I have here, you would only need half that. You would need a 5-inch rectangle. Anyhow, don't quote me. That's just what I'm heard. I don't know if it's accurate or not. For me, when I do the 35 by 45, what I have figured out is if I do a starting chain of 36, again, 36 is divisible by 3, it works perfect. Okay, so here we go. Let's start our starting chain. So this loop on your hook, if you're new to crochet, this loop does not count. Okay, this is going to be our first chain. I'm going to count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 7, 28, 29, 30, 1, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So there is my little starting chain. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working into the back bump of this chain. And a lot of people will do their little granny clusters right into this chain, okay? And that's totally acceptable. However, what I have found is if I turn my chain and go back with a single crochet, it fattens this up a little bit. And it just feels like it's a little more sturdy in the center. So the way that I do that is I chain one, and then I go right into this back bump of the first stitch, and I do a single crochet. And when I do the back bump, so if you're not familiar with a crochet chain, when you look at one side, you can see there's 2 loops. When you rotate it, you can see this is the back bump right here. Do you see that little bump? That's what I am going underneath. So instead of the 2 bars, I go under that back bump, and I'm just going to do a single crochet the whole way down. Now, when we do this, work in the back bump, I mean, it looks really, really nice, okay? And what that does is your little caterpillar that you're making, if we can call it that, you can see here, here's 2 loops on one side. This is the single crochets I'm doing. But when you turn, look how nice the other side looks because you've also got those 2 chains. So that's why I like working in the back bump. It basically gives you 2 really nice finished edges to work into. Hey, Michaela, good morning. Guys, I'm going to be talking a lot about stitches today. So I'm glad all of you are here this morning. I know some of you are probably crocheting along with me because you've been wanting to make this for a while. But today we're working on the modern granny blanket, and this is going to be rectangle size. And I'm working in 3 different colors. Hey, Larimar, good morning. So we're starting with Red Heart Super Saver. This is the colorway Cafe Latte that I'm working with this morning. And we're just getting this project started, okay? So I've done a starting chain of 36. Then I chained one as a turning chain, and then I worked into that first loop, and I'm going backwards, and we're making our little. To me, it's like a little caterpillar because it kind of curls up a little bit, but we're making this very first starting row, okay? And this is going to be a rectangle blanket. A lot of the modern granny blankets that you see are not rectangle; they're square. For me, when I make wheelchair size, they need to be 35 by 45. So obviously that is not a rectangle shape or a square shape. So in that case, you have to work with a rectangle starting point. That way your blanket ends up being the right size. Let's see. Crochetic says, good morning. I like that method and also the foundation chain. It does the same. Yeah, I like doing it this way. I feel like it just gives it a little extra stability. That could all be in my mind. I don't really know if, you know, mathematically, Scientologists, whatever. I don't know if that is, actual like physics stronger. I don't know. But to me, it just seems like it has a little more body in the center. And so in my mind, it just makes the center of the blanket a little stronger. Like I said, that could all be in my mind, but I do like how it looks a little better. So basically, when you do your starting chain, you need to work in increments of 3. I started with 36, and I'm going to end up with a total of 13. Oh, Diesel just brought in a huge stick to the house, guys. Well, hopefully that'll keep him entertained over there chomping on his stick, and not be trying to crawl in my lap today. This could be a good thing. Leslie, the hook I'm using this morning is an I-9 hook. Nadia, Crafty Corner, good morning. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. I know y'all have been excited to see this little blanket from the beginning. And eventually, by tomorrow, this will be over on YouTube as well. Okay, so you'll be able to rewatch this if you want to come back and make a rectangle modern granny. So I'm in the last stitch here, my final single crochet. I put in the last stitch. Okay. See, this is why I call it a caterpillar. See how it gets all twisted up? That's okay. That's not going to matter. So that is our starting chain. We chained 36. I added one as my turning chain here. And then I did a single crochet into every single stitch, working back the other direction. Okay, so now we're going to chain 3. And I'm working right into this first stitch here. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be making the edge of this starting. Okay, so basically right here, I'm doing a chain of 3, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets, all into this very end stitch. Okay, so that's what we're working on right now. So I did my chain of 3. There's number 2. And here is number 3. So there's our first little cluster for this side. Now I'm going to chain 2. This chain of 2 is the corner of our blanket. Now I'm going to go right back into this same stitch here, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets. I have never done a foundation crochet. I've always just kind of done it with this chain. But I've been kind of wanting to uh, do the foundation. I haven't experimented with that at all. So now I need another corner here. So I'm going to chain 2. And now again, right back into this space, we need 3 double crochets. So this is going to be the corner edge of our blanket. Oh, he really likes this stick he's chomping on. Okay, so can you visualize the corner? Here's a corner, here's a corner. Now what we need to do is we need to work along this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to be skipping 2 stitches. So one of the things I like to do is I like to kind of count this backwards. So I visualize, okay, this is where my last stitch is going to be. Then I count 2. So there's going to be a stitch, 2, there's a stitch, 2, there's a stitch, there's a stitch. And this just kind of helps me get and make sure my placement is on point. You don't have to do it this way. There's 2. So I think it goes here. I might have to frog this out. It looks like my thing is a little wonky. My counts might be a little wonky, but let's just see how this plays out. So into this stitch, I skip 2. Into the third here, I'm going to do 3 double crochets right into this same stitch. Okay. So there we go. I don't do any chains or anything in between, but now I'm going to skip 2. And now into this third here, again, I'm going to do my 3 double crochets. Okay, and just keep working our way along the whole side of this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera there, guys. My skein of yarn is kind of tight here. Brand new skein. Okay, so we're going to skip 2. Now into the 3rd here. Again, we're going to do 3 double crochets. Rosie, thank you so much for the gifts this morning. And thank you all for the screen taps. Hope everybody is having a fabulous day here. It's a little overcast here in Alabama. Hey, Debbie, good morning. Debbie, thank you so much for the gift this morning. Appreciate that. So, how many of y'all are crocheting along with me? Is anybody making this as we go along? I know some people messaged me that they had their yarn and they were going to work along with me. Hey, Betty, good morning. How are things in Florida? See how that's coming along? Kind of cute, right? So there's our little end working away. So again, skip 2. Now into the 3rd here. We need our mentally, yes, but working. Oh, Rosie. It happens. We have to support this yarn habit we've all got, you know. I saw Hobby Lobby's 30% off. I'm going to go over there on Saturday, I think. I have to go to the bank. The bank that we use, there's not one close to us. We have to drive to another town. It was the bank that we had in Arizona, and I don't want to redo all of my banking stuff. And so, anyhow, we have to drive like 50 minutes. We go over to Albertville, and Albertville has the Hobby Lobby. But somebody said Scottsboro is supposed to be getting a Hobby Lobby. So we'll see if Scottsboro gets a Hobby Lobby. That's going to be like way closer to me. So I'm excited for that. Michelle said, I missed the first part. How many did you chain to start? I started with a chain of 36. Your chain needs to be divisible by 3. And now, after you get your starting chain, so basically, um, this was my starting chain here. Okay, or maybe it was this side. I don't know. I've turned my work. So I think it was this side. But anyhow, I chained 36. Then at the very end, I chained one more as a turning chain. Then I worked a single crochet into all of those stitches. Hey, Maggie, good morning. Oh, yeah, Diesel was a hot mess yesterday. So basically, this is what we're making. We're starting with the very center of our blanket. This is a different one I'm working on. Um, yeah, I do order, Debbie from Hobby Lobby online. I order a lot of my yarn online, as you guys know. I ordered from Michael's. My order came yesterday. My squirrel cakes all came, and this is one of them that I got. You guys want to see it? I showed it earlier. Um, it's not really a squirrel cake, but that's what in my mind, that's what I called it, a cinnamon squirrel cake. So from now on, for me, these will always be cinnamon squirrel cakes. They'll never be swirls. They will always be squirrels. This one is berry ripple, but I think I'm going to do the, isn't that pretty? I think I'm going to do, oh, help me, Maggie. What is the blanket you're making? I'm drawing it. Oh, the virus blanket. The virus blanket. I think I'm going to make one of those. I got 6 cakes of that, and I got a total of 4 different color ways. So I definitely am going to have. So again, skip 2, and then into the 3rd. So I thought that squirrel cake might look kind of cool with the virus blanket. I know Maggie's doing the spearmint. Y'all, if you're not following Maggie, give her a follow this morning. She is a fabulous TikTok creator. She goes live in the evenings. I go on in the mornings, but Maggie goes on in the evenings, and then she also does weekends. So, anyhow, I really enjoy her channel a lot. Spearmint swirl. That's what color Maggie's doing. So, anyhow, this past weekend, I was watching Maggie's live Saturday morning, and she was working on her virus blanket. And she said, let's bring back the virus blanket for 2025. It was really popular a number of years ago. And so, anyhow, I thought, well, I'll get on that bandwagon. I can get behind that. Okay, so here is our last stitch. Okay, so I do my 3 double crochets into that very last stitch. okay? Then I chain 2. Now right back into this same stitch, we need 3 more double crochets. We're making our very edge here, the end where the corner goes, okay? So there is our 3. Now we need to chain 2 again. And then, of course, right back down into this same stitch, we need 3 more double crochets. So if you can envision this, this becomes the corner of your blanket. Okay, see how it looks like a little granny square? So that's what we're looking for. Now what I do is I line up my stitches to match the corresponding stitch here on the other side. So for example, this one would be here. This one is here. And I just do my 3 double crochets working on the other side of our little foundation row, chain, center, whatever you want to call this. Okay. So I'm working 3 in each one. Skip 2 and then into the third. Again, we need our 3 double crochets. I am working on, Jay, I'm working on a modern granny. We're just starting it. So I'm going to skip 2 and then I'm going to go into the third again with our 3 double crochets. And I really like the modern granny. I don't have one here close to me to show, but you're going to see this start to get worked up here. This is what I call them. It's the modern granny. So it's a little different than your normal granny blanket, but it's kind of more of a, I guess, elegant granny blanket, if you want to call it more elegant. Anyhow, I think it looks really slick when it's all worked up. So we're starting this one from scratch. I've got 3 different colorways. So this brown that I'm working with right now, because I'm super fancy, is Red Heart Super Saver Cafe Latte. That's what this brown is. And then I also have, again, because I'm fancy, super fancy, another Red Heart. This one is like a off-white color. This is the colorway Aran. And then the Accent Beautiful yarn. Look at that. I love this yarn. Isn't it pretty? Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is Birchwood Cottage. So anyhow, I thought these 3, you got to have to kind of envision how it's going to be. These 3 colors are what I'm working with. So once we get done with this brown, we're going to be moving on to the Aran color. So again, skip 2 into the third. We want 3 double crochets. So we're just kind of getting ourselves set up here. Skip 2 into the third, 3 double crochets. Now, a lot of people, when they work on their granny blankets, modern granny rectangle, whatever the heck you want to call this thing, when they get to this next row, they turn their work. And I do not turn my work. I just keep working around and around and around. Uh-oh, Diesel got his stick stuck on my plant shelf. We may have a real disaster here in a minute. As he's pulling his stick, the whole plant shelf is like wobbling. Okay, so now here we are to the very beginning. I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and I'm going to work my way to the corner. I like to work from the corner. Some people will start working right here. I just learned from my grandma to always work in the corner here, and that way you can weave in your tails a little easier. So there is our very center. Kind of shaped up nice, right? So we ended up with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then, of course, this is the edge here. This is the side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start our next row. And this is kind of a setup row. And the way I like to do this is I start with a single crochet right here into the corner. Then I chain 3. And then right back down into this corner space, I do another single crochet. So what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up this little foundation chain all the way around the edge of the blanket. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 3. Now I'm going to skip over here to the corner and I'm going to do a single crochet and secure that. So there's again another little chain. Now again, chain 3, and then right back in this corner, we need our single crochet. So you can see there's a chain, there's a chain, there's a chain. We're going to keep working this the whole way around. So I'm going to chain 3, skip over all these stitches, go right into this space, and again, single crochet. Chain 3. There went the shelf. It has my pineapple plant and an aloe vera plant. Actually, I think the plants actually landed upright. This is my life, y'all. At least he's not trying to climb in my lap. We are making the modern granny this morning. I'm working on a rectangle size, and we just started it on the live this morning. Now you'll be able to go back and rewatch this over on my YouTube. If you're not following me over there, my handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. Now he's digging in his crate. If you wonder what the scratching is, it's my puppy being obnoxious. Hey, love. Good morning. Yeah, Diesel is exploring. Maggie, this morning he brought in a huge stick. Huge stick. Yesterday he was climbing all over my lap, so it's like whatever. If he wants to have a stick in the house, his dad really doesn't like the sticks in the house because he makes a huge, huge mess of them. But whatever. If he's not in my lap, I don't care. So anyhow, we're working this little. See the little chains forming along our edge. Now here we are to the corner. So I chained 1. And now we're going to do a single crochet, chain 3. Now right back into this space, we need our single crochet. So there's our next little corner chain. Chain 3, and now single crochet into the next corner space, chain 3, and then single crochet right back into that corner space again. Okay, so there's our little corners. Now we got to work down this whole side. So again, chain 3, work right in between here's a group of 3, here's a group of 3. Right in between, you're just going to do a single crochet. And you're just going to work these chain 3s. Nope, off. You're not coming up today. We're not going to have this. Mom is busy here. Nope, off. No. No. He doesn't like that too much. He's talking back. Brooke says, did you have bad weather where you were yesterday? I didn't. We're in Northeast Alabama. And it kind of was more north of us. Look, you little monster. Get down. No. He's being obstinate. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to deal with this because I don't want him up here today. No. He'll give up eventually. No. No. Off. Okay. Apologies. Yeah, he sounded serious. He's no. No. He get when he doesn't get his way, he gets mad. And then he back talks. Yes. I know he sounds really cute. I just can't have him jumping up here on me whenever he feels like it. Mr. Wheeler and I are trying to get him to stop this. I know yesterday, I thought to myself yesterday, it's like, well, um, I give him a yarn and to go away, and then I thought, well, that's really enforcing bad behavior. I shouldn't have done that. So, anyhow, we'll see if hopefully he'll just move along. No, off. Okay, we're almost ready to change colors. Working our way to the end, chain 3, single crochet right in between those groups. It is, I don't know what time it is. I'm in Alabama. It's 8 o'clock here in Alabama. Patty Bear, we have a Rottweiler puppy, and he's very opinionated. He's probably the most strong willed dog I've ever had. Um, I've had Rottweilers in the past. And wow, you guys knocked out that gift goal. Thank you so much for all the gifts this morning. Here I am over here disciplining the dog, and you guys are sending me love. Appreciate that. Okay, so when I get here to the corner, I join with a slip stitch right here to the corner, and then I'm going to snip off. Okay, so I have finished with the brown color. Now, if you're using like a cake yarn or something like that, you could just keep going. Patty, we did a whole, honestly, like the whole segment yesterday had Diesel in my lap, and I couldn't crochet, and it was a hot mess. Let me just say that. Um, so maybe at the end of the live, if he's being good, I'll bring him up, and then y'all can see him and give him love. We've kind of made this, when he was really little, I would bring him up on my lap. Marcia, good morning. I am making a modern granny blanket. So we just started this morning. Okay, so let me recap. For those that are just hopping on, we've had a lot of new people come on. We are making a modern granny blanket this morning. Okay, the way that I do this is I did a starting chain, which you can see here. I chained 36, okay, 36 chains. Then when I got to the end, I chained one as a turning chain. Then I do a single crochet back into that turning chain. Here is another example if this helps you to see it a little better in different colors. So again, this turning chain, I did 36. Now, when I get to the end of this blanket, I am making Zane, welcome. Zane is new. Give everybody say good morning to Zane. We've had a lot of new followers pop up this morning. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Let me just do a little recap here of what we're doing so y'all can understand what we got cooking here. Okay, so I did a starting chain of 36. When you do a modern granny, you need to keep in mind as you're doing your starting chain, it needs to be in increments of 3. Mine was 36. So if you wanted to make it bigger, you would do 39. And the way that they say, who they is, I've just heard this over the years. If you want to know how big to make your starting chain, so for example, I'm talking about the 36 inches or the 36 chains that I did. It starts here with the lighter pink, right? Obviously, I'm doing a brown one. And at the end, it works out over here to be 10 inches. So, what I have heard is if you want your blanket to be, like, let's say you want your blanket to be 50 by 60 size, okay? Like a throw blanket. You want it to be a rectangle. What you have to do is you have to take the 60 and subtract the 50, and that will give you what your starting chain or amount should be, how wide it should be. Okay. And so in that case, 10 inches. My blanket I like to do is 35 by 45. So same concept applies. We want this chain right here to be a total of 10 inches. 45 minus 35 is 10. Now let's say you wanted your blanket to be a 40 by 35. 40 minus 35. In that case, you would only have a 5-inch starting chain. That blanket would be more of a square shape. And obviously, there's a lot of YouTubes of how to do a modern granny that is the square shape. Okay, so I'm focusing today on the rectangles. Thank you guys so much for the gifts this morning. Appreciate that. You guys, I'm setting these up, and y'all are knocking them down as fast as I can, set them up. So thank you all so much for the love this morning. If you are new to my channel, I've seen a number of new followers pop up. Guys, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I do have a full-time job, but I like to come on, and I'm live both on TikTok and on YouTube this morning, and just crochet with my friends and kind of share my crochet. I'm not an expert crocheter by any means. I'm just a hobby crocheter, but I just kind of explain what I'm doing and what I've got kind of on my hook and the projects that I'm working on. So that's a little bit about me. I do live in Northeast Alabama, here in the United States, and we do have a number of folks that watch me from all over the world. So, oh, Leanna said you have a very good voice for this. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I never thought that I would. In my life, guys, I never thought I would be like on TikTok doing this, but one of my friends in Arizona, she said, "You need to get on there and you need to show the world what you're doing." And what are you talking about? Nobody gives a rat's what April in Alabama is doing. But hey, Karen, good morning. Glad to see you, Karen. Um, Karen makes the most beautiful stitch minders and knot slayers. Now, this is not one that Karen made, but guys, give Karen a follow. She makes these. So, like, if you get a knot in your yarn, see how it's got the little point? You can use this to try to get your knot out. And Karen makes custom ones of these. So she's a great person to follow if you want to give her a follow here. So, anyhow, I started going live in July, and the amount of friends I've made has just been amazing, and I really, really enjoy it. So, I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And like I said, I just kind of do a different project every day. But today we're working on the modern granny. Okay. So I've got a slip knot on my hook and I'm going to start in the corner. Now, one thing, when you're working on granny square blankets, you can see I ended my project over here. I like to turn my work, or not turn it, but rotate my work and choose a different corner to start with. Okay. That will help keep your work more square, or in this case, more rectangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a standing double crochet into this corner chain space. Okay. So I have a slip knot on my hook. I secure my chain. I hold it here in my thumb. I wrap another loop onto my hook. I put my hook down into that chain, turn my hand forward, and I transfer the job of holding this tail to Mr. Thumb here, okay? If you don't keep this secure, this little loop will spin off. Then I grab up a loop. Now you have 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that is a standing double crochet. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing a standing double crochet, you could certainly do a chain of 3. You could do a stacked single. There's a lot of different stitches you could start with here, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Now we need 2 more double crochets. So we need a total of 3. That is half of our corner. Now we're going to chain 2. And now right back into this corner space again, we need 3 more double crochets. Okay, so those of you that are familiar with granny squares, can you envision that's how our little corner is now? And now here we need to work along the side. So this side right now is, pretty short. This will get bigger as we go along. Okay, I don't do any chains. I just immediately put 3 double crochets right under this chain of 3 that we made. Okay, so there's our new side. Now again, we're back to the corner. So in the corner again, you'll remember we need 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So just like you do your granny squares, same concept you're working here. So there is our next corner. Now we're ready to start working on the side. I'm going to put 3 double crochets under each one of these, okay, as we work along. So the difference between the modern granny and a regular granny square, normally with a granny square, you wouldn't have this chain to work under. You would be working right here in between your little granny clusters, right? And so the stitches would be alternated. You'd have your cluster here, then here, and they would kind of be staggered, right? With the modern granny, what gives it its little elegance, if you will, is that they're stacked on top of each other. And so it just gives it a really kind of nice, uh, like a little fancier, if you will, um, you know, look to it. Okay, so again, I'm just doing 3 double crochets into each of these sections. But now you can start to see how this was a grouping here. See how this is stacked on top of that. So as this blanket gets bigger and bigger and bigger, these are going to keep stacking on top of each other. And I'm going to change up the colors as we go along and just kind of create some more interest. This project works really well if you have any kind of cake yarn where it like automatically changes colors, because then you don't have to tie off and deal with weaving in ends and everything. Now, for me, I'm pretty cheap, guys. I'm really cheap, I'll tell you. So what I like to do, I'm making a lot of donation blankets this year, and what I like to do is I like to pair a more economical yarn with the fancier yarn. So, for example, I'm working. This is Red Heart Super Saver here in the middle. This is Mocha Latte, right? Or Cafe Latte. Excuse me, Cafe Latte. Now I'm doing Aran, also Red Heart. But can you see the next color we're going to be starting here? Isn't that pretty? So I think the next row should be the fancy color. What do you guys think? I think I do a row of this, then I go back to a row of the Aran, and then I go back to the chocolate color. Don't you think that would look kind of cool? So, you can do your colors however you wish to do it. If you just want to get a cake, right? Here's a cake yarn. This is what I mean by a cake, right? It has all the colors already in it. You could just get a skein of yarn like this and just go around and around and around and around and not deal with changing colors at all. That is, really easy. Brooke said, "How do you do a double crochet?" Um, Hannah, I'm going to show you how to do the corner here in just a minute. So the way I do a double crochet, I'm going to do this the technical quote right way. I crochet incorrect. Call the crochet police. But for a new crocheter, this is how I do it. Wrap my yarn around, and now I have 2 loops. This is the starting loop. You bring that down and you go into this space, and then you draw up a loop. So now you have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. That is a double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to move right to this next space again. Let's do another slow double crochet. Yarn over, go right down in that space. Again, yarn over, grab up a loop. Now we have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. That is your double crochet. Vicky says, I'm at an appointment and missed the beginning. I know I'll be able to follow up tomorrow. Yes, Vicky, I am live on YouTube this morning as well. We have a number of people watching over there. Looks like we have upwards of almost 150 over here on TikTok watching. So you will be able to go back and rewatch this over on YouTube. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. But thank you so much for popping by, Vicki. It's always nice to see you. Let's see. Brooke says, okay, I want to try to make a blanket, but I only know how to do a single. So, Brooke, there are a lot of tutorials you can find either on TikTok or over on YouTube. Just put in double crochet. That's what we're doing is double crochets. And then you'll just need to get some yarn and you can practice your double crochets. Okay, guys, so here we are to the corner. Okay, you can see I've done my last little group here, and now I'm in the corner. So I'm going to work right over this tail that I had into this space. Okay, and the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 3 double crochets into the corner. Here is lucky number 3. Okay, so that is half of the corner. Now we need to chain 2. And again, right into this same space, we need to do 3 double crochets. and that will complete our corner stitch. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So just like when you do a regular granny, um, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. I'll go back and continue weaving in this tail with my darning needle once I kind of work away around my project. Um, yes, Ray of Sun, I do a yarn under. Um, so most people don't even catch that I'm doing that, but more seasoned crocheters certainly do. I have been crocheting for 40 years, and I never paid much attention to it until I started um, going on live, and then people started asking me. And so, what we're referring to, guys, is the way that April does her stitches quote wrong. Is I yarn over, I go under, and then I grab it like this. If we look at that stitch, I technically do a yarn under. The yarn at this point is coming under my hook. I pull up a loop and then I complete my stitch. So the quote right way to crochet is you yarn over, go down in, and then you yarn under or yarn over. See how the yarn is coming on top of my hook? And then you pull up a loop. And so that is the technical way to do it. So my stitches, this is a yarn under, and this is the quote right way, the yarn over. I would say this is my again my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. As long as your stitches are consistent and you do them the same way over and over again, it makes no difference. So I say call the crochet police. There's nobody going to roll up here and slap my hand and tell me that I'm doing it wrong. But I do it the same way over and over and over again. I don't mix and match. So that is my thoughts on that. And you don't, again, you don't have to agree. It's just kind of the way that I do my crocheting. I don't know that there's any value in me relearning how to do a proper by doing it the yarn over. I don't think it would change anything in my crocheting. And I crochet really fast, and so that is the thing. It would definitely slow me down. Obviously, I go a lot slower on the lives, but anyhow, I'm going to just keep doing my thing. So here is another corner. Okay, so you can see it here again: 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to start working again 3 double crochets into each of these sections. Another question, my levels are curling when I layer. How do I stop that? It could be your tension. Tension really is the most difficult thing, I think, for a crocheter to learn. And it comes with practice. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but you have to do it over and over and over again. So if your stitches are too tight, this could curl over on you because you have too much tension. It's too tight. So I would try crocheting a little looser, and just kind of give yourself a little more work. When you're first learning, a lot of times you want to these are become very, very tight, right? Can you see the difference when it's tight like this versus a more relaxed stitch? That is what I mean by your tension. So try to give yourself a little more working space here, and that might help kind of flatten out your stitches. Kathy said size up the hook helps too. I would just try loosening up your tension. So when you pull up your loop, try to make note of how big these little stitches are here. Again, if this is really tight and you're having a hard time pulling through there, these are both double crochets I just made, this one and this one. But can you see the difference? I think, with time these will get a little looser, but that is what typically happens to a new crocheter is you get these stitches really tight and then they kind of curl up and they just don't lay flat. So definitely err on the side of making it a little looser. So I don't think you need another hook, Brooke. I would just like I said, try loosening up your tension. Just relax a little bit. Um, Debbie says, I need one of those. I know those little stitch things. Karen makes beautiful ones. She has an Etsy shop. The little dog paw one that I have was gifted to me by Gen X. Um, uh, our moderator over here on TikTok, she sent it to me when we first got the puppy. It was a nice little happy mail that she sent, so it was pretty cool. So again, guys, I'm just working my way along, and I'm putting 3 double crochets under each one of these bars. Now, as I get to the edge here, I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and then we're going to start with another section of these like foundation chains. Okay, so we're going to repeat that, and that's where we do our chaining, our chain of 3. So one more section to go here. I'm kind of working a little quicker along these sides just because I want to see you guys, have you guys see kind of more of how this blanket starts coming together. Okay, so here it is. I finished the last section. This is where I started. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch. And then what I like to do is I like to work my way over to the corner. Again, that is how my grandma taught me. Now, you don't have to. Some people can end right here, and they prefer that. Like I said, there's really no rules. This is kind of how I do it. I just do a little slip stitch. So I take this one and put it under this one, and that stitch is very flat, and I just work my way over here into the corner. Okay, this way I'm ready to set up for the next round. So here's where we're at right now. Again, we had our starting chain of 36, and then I chained one and turned my work, and then I did a single crochet all the way back in all the stitches. Then I did my corner. I did a chain of 3, 2 more double crochets, and then in the corner I did chain 2, and then another grouping of 3, chain 2. But you can really start to see how our corners are starting to take shape. Okay, so now we're ready to do another one of these little chain rows. So the way that I do that is I'm going to start with a single crochet into the corner. Now I'm going to chain 3, and again right back down into this corner I do another single crochet. So there is our new little corner. Now I'm going to chain 3, skip over these 3 stitches, and then right here into the in between, again, we're going to do our single crochet. We're going to basically tack that down. Okay, now we need to chain 3 again, skip over those 3 stitches, and then of course right back in between. So I'm not working in the top of these stitches, I'm just putting this right in between. Chain 3, skip over, now we're back to the corner. So again, single crochet, chain 3 for our corner, right back down into that corner, and again, single crochet. So there's our new little corner. Chain 3, now we're working on this next side here. And again, we're going to skip over these 3 stitches right in between. You're going to want to do your single crochet. So again, I'm not working in the top of these. I'm going right in between the two groups and doing a single crochet. Does that make sense to everybody? And I'm going to keep working this all the way around, and we're just setting ourselves up to be able to make our next row of the square or rectangle. I guess this is a rectangle. I need to stop calling it a square. Force a habit, I guess. Let me get a little sip of coffee here. I am starting to feel a lot better, guys. I'm sure you can tell my voice is a little better. I've been under the weather for the last couple weeks. I've been really sick. I missed a number of the lives, but I really am starting to do better. My voice is coming around. I still have a little bit of congestion, but that everybody's been really sick. I know in Arizona there was a whole slew of sickness that came through there because I still work remote in Arizona. Hey Shay, I'm making a rectangle modern granny blanket. We started it this morning on the live, so I'm just working my way around here. I'm getting ready to change colors. Next color is this one right here. Isn't that pretty? I just really I like how I think it's going to look awesome together. I hope I'm not disappointed. I don't think I'm going to be though. I think it's going to look fabulous. So we'll see. My 6-year-old asked where my granny square was this morning while watching. Hey, Sparky, good morning. Hannah says, we are in France and my husband is getting over being sick. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting sick. My husband brought it home. His whole office was sick, and that's how I got it. Uh, now, do you make this special row each time around after the groups of three? Yes. So every time you do this blanket or do a round, you're going to do your groupings of three. Then you're going to come back and you're going to do this chain. And so what that does is it allows these to stack on top of each other. So a normal granny square, right? These are staggered. You have your next grouping would be here. The thing that makes this like quote more elegant, right, is how they stack on top of each other. And the way you do that is by adding this little chain all the way around. So it's a little added step, but it really doesn't bug me at all. There's our corner. So you do a single crochet, chain three, single crochet. Now work along the side, chain three, and now single crochet right in between. And yeah, you're going to do this every time. Now, if you're working with Caron cake or some kind of cake yarn, you don't have to change colors how I'm changing colors. You can do it however you wish to, kind of do your colors. I'm working with 3 colors on mine. And yes, I'm going to have some tails to weave in, but I think it will, be really nice. And so I don't mind. I like weaving in the tails better on a granny blanket than I do like on a ripple. I just feel like I can hide them a little better because I always have my tails in the corner. Uh-oh. The puppy dogs are at it, guys. Sorry. If you hear growling and rumbling and nope, off. Nope, off. 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 I don't want to play. I don't want to play. He's all fired up this morning, guys. Wow, gift goal met. Thank you all so much for the gifts this morning. I'm trying to keep him from jumping on me this morning. Yesterday was a whole thing, and I just would like for it to be a little more relaxed. He stresses me out when I'm trying to crochet and he's trying to jump on me. I'm sure you all understand, especially when he's all wound up and ready to play and chomp on everything. So, anyhow, hopefully he'll move along. I'm talking to we have a puppy. We have a Rottweiler puppy, and he's at that age where he's kind of a handful. I'll tell you, he's a handful. Gail, he's a Rottweiler, and we got him in December, so he's kind of like a I don't know. Is he in his terrible twos? Is he a teenager? I don't know, but he's a handful right now. Kayla said, instead of working into the spaces, thanks, I stepped away for a minute. Yeah, so when you do your chain, okay, you you do your we just finished this row here where we did our 3 stitches. Now I'm setting ourselves up for the next row. So I'm adding these chains. So I chain 3, I skip over the 3 stitches, and instead of working in the top, I go right in between these and I do a single crochet. Okay, then I chain 3. And again, instead of working on the top, go right in between your next 2 groups and do a single crochet. Chain 3, and then right in between. We're almost to the end here, and I'm going to be changing colors. Chain 3, single crochet. Now chain 3, and again, I'm going to work to the corner here, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and I'm going to snip off because I'm going to change my colors. Okay, So now we've set up our foundation row, the little chain row. So now we're going to start our next color. And again, into each one of these groups, as we work along, we're going to be doing 3 double crochets. Those are going to sit right on top of each other. Now over here in the corner, this was our corner stitch. And again, you were going to do this. Then we're going to repeat the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Yes, he's in his raptor phase, Hannah. That is a great way to describe it. Uh, if he's like Turbo, he's his terrible twos last 4 years. Girl, Shauna, don't tell me that. I'm trying to be patient. All right, so let's get our next color here. I love this yarn in the colorway Birchwood Cottage. So if you're just joining, you're wondering what colors I'm using. This yarn here in the very center was Red Heart Super Saver because I'm fancy, fancy, fancy. And it was the colorway Cafe Latte. The off-white color that I'm using, again, super, super fancy, Red Heart Jumbo. And this is the colorway Aran. So now I'm going to pair it with this beautiful Birchwood Cottage. Isn't that pretty? It has like some grays, almost like golden hues to it, and I think it's going to look really nice. So let's see if I can find the center here. That was not it. Am I going to have to go fishing? I do love fishing, but I don't like work fishing for my yarn beginning. Let's see here. Where's my center pole? Don't you hate that? Usually I think they have them better than this. I don't usually have this problem. There we go. Okay, let's work with our yarn barf here. Let me get this in a workable state here. Yes, you'll be able to go back and rewatch this video on my YouTube. If you're not following me over there, my handle is Wheeler8Acres. There is a link on the link tree to my YouTube. And we are live both this morning on TikTok and on YouTube. So basically, what happens is I re release out this live video that we're making today. So it's not like a formal tutorial or anything. If you're looking for more of a formal tutorial, I did link one on my link tree. The interstellar blanket that we worked on Tuesday, there is a link to a video where you can watch kind of more of a formal tutorial. If you don't mind me rambling and stuff as we go along and dealing with the dog, then of course you can watch over on my YouTube. And I would appreciate the follow over there. By all means, appreciate that. Um, yeah, sorry guys. This happens to all of us. I'm sorry it happens on the live, but this is crochet reality. This could really stress me out, but it really doesn't. I just kind of take it all in stride, and it is what it is. We all experience this, so it's a good exercise in patience. And this is where you need your little stitch thing. This is what Karen makes these, but when you get a little knot like this, you get your knot slayer. See this little dude here? And then you can get this knot out rather easily. See, I've still got a little knot here. It's like a little helping hand. She sells these on her Etsy, our friend Karen. Okay, so I try to keep my little center cap on it. We're almost ready here, folks. Let's get back to crocheting. Okay, so I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to begin with a standing double crochet. There's Karen. If you guys want one of these yarn knot slayers, that Karen, TSH Designs by Karen, that's the gal you need to follow. You can find her on Etsy. Okay, so I like to rotate my work. I finished over here. And I don't turn my work, but what I like to do is I like to choose a different corner where I reattach my yarn. So as you're working on granny squares or anything in the round, It works a lot better if you don't keep going over and over into the same corner. This will help to keep your work square. No. Excuse me, guys. No. 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 You're not coming up. You stay down. No. Especially with your chomping teeth. No. No. Give me my yarn. He's trouble, guys. This dog is trouble. Off. Bear with me here. He's got to learn this. He has got to learn this. Give me patience, Lord. Okay. Let me readjust my camera here. I'm sorry, folks. Off. Off. I wish you guys could see him trying to chomp on me. Stop. Go tear up your brother, not your mom. Okay, where'd my yarn go now? Here we go. Okay, so yeah, he's mad at me, Betty. He's mad because I won't let him up in my lap. But we have to break him of this. I can't have him jumping up in my lap every 5 seconds. When he's 150 pounds, it's going to be a real nightmare, you know? He's going to be a big dog, and so he has to be invited up for pets. That's what we're trying to teach. Jennifer said he might be teething. Yeah, he chomps on everything. He's got 5 million toys, guys. He's not neglected or spoiled. Trust me on this. he, he has a whole thing, a whole toy box that's overflowing. And he can go outside and chomp on sticks. He has a whole yard. We have 8 acres here, so he's not, but I can't have him jumping in my lap every 5 seconds. It's just not mentally good for me. Okay, so I'm going to start right into this corner here, and I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. I have a slip knot on my hook. I am securing this tail. I wrap my yarn around. I go down into this space. I transfer the job of holding the tail to my other thumb here. Okay, if you don't hold this, what'll happen is that little loop that you made will spin off on you. And so I grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over and pull through two. That is a standing double crochet. And if you don't feel comfortable doing a standing double crochet, you could start with a chain of 3 here. You can start with a stacked single crochet, however you like to do your first double crochet. Now I need to add 2 more double crochets. So there are 3 double crochets. Now we need to chain 2 and right back into the corner here, we need to do 3 more double crochets. Okay, so this is our corner. Bye, Sparky. Have a great day. Wilbur said, what happened to the twisty one? So the twisty one happens, Wilbur, when I'm continuing my color and going around and around and around. That's when I do the twisty one. Sheila says, does your other baby still play with toys or out age of them? Like, no, he still plays with toys. Both of them play with toys. And they both play with each other, so they're very good companions. Like, they'll go outside and they chase each other around and chomp on each other and chomp on toys together, and they carry sticks around. They're best buds. Okay, so once you get done with your corner, now we're going to go right into this next space. I'm not going to chain anything. I'm just going to do 3 double crochets right into this next chain space. Okay, so there is our group of 3. So you can see how this is stacking on top of this. Now I'm going to move immediately to the next chain space and again put 3 double crochets right here into this chain. And again, you can see this is stacking on top. So this is what makes it the quote elegant granny. right? Or modern granny versus just a regular granny square is because of the placement of the stitches. So I just am going to do 3 into each one of these groupings. But can you see how it's starting to form up there? So after I get done with this row, then I'm immediately going to start working on the chain row again and setting ourselves up for the next grouping or color change or whatever you want to do. So you're always going to do these groupings of 3. Again, no chain or anything in between. And in the corners, you're going to remember to do uh, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. But along the side here, and I'm going to kind of go a little fast on these with double crochets, we're just repeating double crochets, 3 of them into each of these chain groups. Okay. Hey, Janita, good morning. How is everybody today? Are y'all having a fabulous week? I hope you are. If you're just hopping on, today we are working on the Modern Granny. This is a rectangle blanket that I'm making, and I'm making it wheelchair size. I'm working with 3 different colors. The brown in the center is Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Cafe Latte. And the off-white color that I'm working into, this color here, is also Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Aran. And now I'm working with this. I love this yarn. And this is the colorwood Birchwood. Okay. So here we are to the corner again. That you can see this is our corner. I'm going to work right over this tail. And into this corner space, I'm going to put 3 double crochets. Jennifer said, can you explain how you started the middle? Absolutely. Give me just 1 minute, Jennifer, and I'll give you the rundown, give you the scoop. Okay, so there is our 3, chain 2. Now right into this same corner space, we need 3 more double crochets. Okay, so that is our new corner. Now we're going to continue working along this side. This is a short side. Remember, this is a rectangle. Eventually this will get larger and larger as we go around. But we're going to do 3 double crochets along each of these groupings. And 1 more here along the side. Ooh, that gray is starting to come out now. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Really pretty yarn. Okay, so here we are back to another corner. Again, in the corner, you're going to remember 3 double crochets, chain 2, and now 3 double crochets right back into that center. And then we're going to start working along the side again. So as we work along the side, we're going to place 3 double crochets into each one of these little chains that we made. So if you're just hopping on, the way that I started this blanket, I am making a size that's going to be 35 by 45. This will be a wheelchair size blanket. And the way that I calculated how big to make my center here is I subtracted 45 from 35, and that gave me 10 inches. So this is my starting point right here. It doesn't, sorry, it takes the whole screen. And so this right here is 10 inches. I chained 36. When you're making this, you need to make sure your starting chain is in increments of 3, divisible by 3. And so, anyhow, mine was 36. Then I chained 1 and turned my work. Here is another example in different colors. Okay, you can see more obvious. This was my starting chain here. So I chained 36. Then I chained 1 and I turned my work and I put a single crochet back into each one of those stitches. Okay, then I started on the corner and I chained 3, followed by 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then I did 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So this becomes your corner. Then along the side, I skipped 2 stitches, and into the third, I did 3 double crochets. So skip 2, then do 3. Same thing here. You can see it. There's the two I skipped, 1, 2, into the third, 3 double crochets. And again, here was my corner. You can see my chain of 3 right here as I started. Now we're working around and around and around. And you're alternating 2 different rows, okay? And what we're doing is you make this foundation chain row here that you work into, and we do 3 double crochets into each one of these sections. What this does is it allows these granny cluster stitches to stack on top of each other. Normally, when you do a granny square, right, you work the next group of clusters in between. For those that have made granny squares, this makes sense, okay? So you would be working in here. By doing this chain structure, it gives it a whole different look because you can see these stitches are starting to stack on top of each other. Here's brown, white, and then the birchwood, okay? So that's what we're trying to accomplish. It just gives it a nice kind of different look. So does that help with how to start it? Now, guys, if you are just hopping on and you want to see how to begin this blanket, I am live on YouTube this morning along with TikTok. And after the live is over, you'll be able to find replays of this over on my YouTube. There are multiple tabs if you look at my profile. There's videos, then there are shorts, and then you'll see a tab that says live. So any of my replays are under the live tab, okay? I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And let's see. Corrine says, sorry, could you explain the chain structure again? You know what, Corrine, I'll do you one better. Let's just make another chain structure because we do have, what, upwards of 150 some watching on TikTok, and I know a lot of you guys missed it. So I'll just make another chain structure. Let me get to the end here, and we will work one up, and then I'll just pull it out, but you guys can kind of see how it works up if that is helpful. If you go back and watch it on YouTube, you can, rewind and pause me and all of that. So that is helpful as well. My handle over there, if you're not following me, is Wheeler 8 Acres. You can find links on the link tree to everything, all my socials and everything. And I'll give you guys kind of a rundown of the colors that I'm using again today. The very center of this blanket is Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Cafe Latte. So this is Cafe Latte. The white that you see here is also Red Heart Super Saver, and it's called Aran. And this variegated yarn that I'm using right now is, I love this yarn. It's really a beautiful yarn. Look at that. I'm going over there Saturday to get some more yarn. Very I just love I are you guys with me? Do you guys love their flavors? Their flavors are just delicious. This is Birchwood Cottage. So you can kind of see how it's working up here, and it's going to be kind of my little accent row. So I'm going to keep repeating these 3 colors kind of on my entire blanket. Let's see. Stephanie C said, April, what do you think some of the new trends in crochet for 2025 might be? I'm not really sure. I've seen a lot of cardigans still happening. I think those will continue to be popular, in particular, just because of the Jason and Jack, the the video or picture or whatever where they were wearing theirs. I think that is going to trend pretty popular again this year, just because when you've got celebrities that are really embracing crochet, I think it speaks volumes, and I think we'll see a lot of that. I think you'll always have baby blankets because, let's face it, babies are always coming. So I think baby blankets will always be popular. I have a baby boy right now, um, that not me personally, but is coming, and so I have to make a baby boy baby blanket. So I think that will continue to be popular. Somebody mentioned yesterday the chicken purses. I think we'll continue to see more and more handbags and more functional crochet. And I think amigurumi will continue to be popular as well. What are your guys' thoughts? I'm no expert. What do you guys think will be trending for the coming year or the year that we're in, I guess. What do you guys think? You think we'll see some new cool stuff being created? I think we always will. Let me change up this gift bowl here real quick. If you hear more banging, it's the dog. He's into everything this morning. Yeah, Sheila said the chicken purses are adorable. I know, I saw them yesterday. I don't know if I can make one of those on the live. I have to, I think it's a pay pattern. So, April, do you ever go to the JoJo's Closet in Huntsville? Let's see. Wait. What is JoJo's Closet, Sheila? I've never been. I don't go over to Huntsville very often. I try to avoid the big city if I'm being honest. But there are occasions where we go over there. Usually, my husband will drive. I used to drive in Phoenix all the time, and I still can. It's not that I haven't driven over in Huntsville. It's just if I have my druthers, I try to avoid the big city if I can. But I'm curious now what JoJo's Closet is. Is it like a consignment store or something of that nature? Okay, guys, let me pin this off here. No, you're not coming up. Off, 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 off. This is mom's yarn. This is not yours. Sorry, guys. I'm having to discipline the dog. Just give me just a minute here. Off. Off. He's so stubborn. This is the most stubborn dog. Off. He's mad at me. He's really mad at me. Sorry. My tablet is attacking me along with the dog that's attacking me. Okay. Gen X, Texas whiskey. I see you. I'm sorry. I'm a bit behind with the comments. Give me just 1 second here, guys. Off. That is mom. Stop biting it. So here's where we're at. I'm going to start a new one of these, y'all. So those that are just hopping on can see this. Sorry, let me give me just a moment to catch up with the comments, guys. I'm behind. And this dog is off. Off. Patience. Lord, give me patience. Okay, 1 second here. Let me. Corrine said, a cardigan is my next goal. Nice. I think I'm gonna do a cardigan. Uh, I didn't want to say since it's closing. Oh, Joanne's. I gotcha. No, I don't go over there to Joanne's. Most of the time, I just, hey, bye, Wilbur. Have a good night's sleep. I just buy from Joanne's online, but we can't do that anymore. Um, let's see, anything April does. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. Off. Oh my gosh, I might have to pause the live, guys. Hang on 1 second. This dog is making. He's all wound up in my yarn now. Off. He's like a demon dog, I'm telling you. No. Off. Stop biting me. Get a puppy, they said. Off. Get off me. Oh. He's really mad at me. He wants up here, is what the problem is. No. Off. I'm sorry, friends. Let me see if I can get back set up here. Oh, now he's got my yarn all wound. We may have sacrificed some yarn here this morning. Stephanie says, "Oh my gosh, I'm giggling out loud." I'm glad you guys are laughing because this is very serious. I've got 50 new messages, you guys. It's, I want to be a good mom, but we can't have these bad behaviors the rest of our lives. Like, he can't think it's okay for him just to jump up here on me all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all have dogs and, pets, it's like, I have to snip off this yarn. He's taking off with it. He'll have my whole ball outside in a minute. It's just not a good long term plan for, having a pet. So give me just a moment. He's young and he's learning. Yes, he's sassy, very sassy. And yes, he's a troublemaker. He's just at that age right now. Let's see. Yes, Corrine, I do make the wheelchair blankets to donate. There are links on my link tree of where I donate them to, but I donate them to Sabre Healthcare is where my project is going this year. Let's see. Oh, Allie said, I'm currently working on a crop top and it's not turning out how I had planned. Well, you could always frog, Allie. I do think that apparel items will continue to be popular. Stephanie said, April, this is real life. We deal with the fur babies and we love him. I love him. I do. I love him to bits. But when he is just so obstinate and so like hard headed, it's really challenging. It's really hard to be patient. Jennifer said he's a baby raptor. That is exactly what he is. And he grumbles and talks. When he doesn't get his way, he gets mad. And then it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. I'll tell you. Okay, so let's start a new center. Okay, I'm going to use this Aran because I have it in my lap here, okay? But for those that are just asking how to start one of these, let's just go ahead and make another one. It doesn't take very long, but what we're talking about is this little part right here, okay? So the way that I do this is I start with a slip knot on my hook. Is the camera positioned okay, guys? Can you all see? Do you have an approximate amount of yarn used for a wheelchair sized blanket? I This is the approximate size right here. I will use almost all of the cafe latte, almost all of this, and for sure one of these. I might need a second one of these, but they'll be leftovers. And these Super Saver jumbos that I am using, they're big skeins. How many? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. 744 yards. So 744 plus 744 plus I think I'll use two of these ones, and these are 200, excuse me, 250 is what I think I will use for this project. Okay. Obviously, if the dog runs off with some of my yarn, then I might have some yarn loss, but we'll see. Okay, so start with a slip knot on your hook. Hang on, I can't see the comments on my tablet. He got my tablet all messed up. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to be able to see what you're saying to me. Let me move this back a little bit. Sorry. Okay. The name of the colorful one is called Birchwood Cottage. They Some of them say how much, what Shailene is saying. Some of them say how much they use approximately. Um, I don't know if the red hearts say that's how to get it out of the skein. I don't think they say. Some of them will say, let's look at this one. Let's look at the cinnamon squirrel cake. I don't think it says Shailene on these. I think I'm not seeing it if it does. Let's see. Okay, so here we go from the beginning. Slip knot on your hook. Now, guys, if you're new to crochet, this does not count as a one of your stitches, okay? We're going to chain 36, and I'm going to count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay. So there are 36 chains. Now, the size blanket that I'm going to be making is wheelchair size. Okay. So it's going to be about 35 by 45. So when you're calculating how wide to make your starting chain here, what you do is you take your finished size that you want to make. Okay. So let's say you want to make a blanket that is 60 by 50, right? Like a lap gan. Okay, you would subtract, you take 60 and subtract the 50, and that gives you 10 inches. Okay, so if I'm making a 35 by 45, I have 45 minus 35 gives me 10 inches. Okay, so when you're making your starting chain, you want this to be approximately 10 inches, and that will give you your finished size. So if you're making a blanket that you want it to be, let's say 40 by 35, right? Maybe a kid size blanket or something like that. Then you would subtract 35 from 40, and that would tell you 5 inches. So you would have a shorter chain. Obviously, the longer this chain is, the more rectangle it's going to be. The shorter that it is, the more square it's going to be. Okay. So once you get your 36, your starting chain needs to be divisible by 3. Okay. So that's the key thing there. Then I chain 1. That counts as my turning chain. And then I go into this second chain here on my from my hook, and I'm working in the back bump. So if you're looking at your stitches, this is the front of the chain where you've got your 2 loops. The back of the chain, do you see this little back bump here? Some people call it the back bump, back loop. That is what I'm going into. And I'm going to make single crochets. Okay, so move to the next back bump here, and again, single crochet. We're going to do that the whole way down. Now, some people don't like to do the single crochet in the center. Some people probably have never seen it like this. I prefer this way. I feel like it makes the center a little more rigid when we are doing our rectangle blankets. Okay. Some people will just start working their granny clusters into this chain itself. And I just like the look of having the single crochet. So work this the whole way down. Now, you may ask yourself, well, why is she working into the back bump? And the reason why is you can see here, this is the top of the single crochets that I'm doing. If we look at the bottom, you can see how nice and even those stitches are. So this gives us a nice finished edge on both sides of this chain. Okay, and that is what we're going to continue to work our little granny clusters into. So let me resume our single crochets the whole way down. This chain will get a little twisted up as you're working on it. To me, it's kind of like a little caterpillar, and that's perfectly fine. It will flatten out when you start working your next round. Okay, so this is the very beginning if you want to make one of these blankets like this in a rectangle size. Now, the modern granny traditionally is worked in a square size, but there are times where you don't necessarily want a square blanket, right? You don't you may I don't know, like for me, a lap blanket on the couch, I prefer more of a rectangle size. So I don't have so much bulk like beside me in the chair, right? I want it to be kind of more long so it covers my uh, toes and everything. Shailene says, why don't you start with an FSC? Foundation starting chain, is that what that is? Because I don't know how to do that, Shailene. I do this. This is what works for me. I know other people do that, but I don't know how to do that. So I just work a single crochet back into the chain, and it works up nice. Obviously, if you have a different way to do this, you totally could. Um, the math, Texas whiskey, is let's say you want for your a couch blanket, right? Like a lap blanket, you want it to be like 60 inches by 50 inches, right? You take 60 and you subtract 50, and that gives you 10 inches. So in that case, your starting chain needs to be 10 inches long, but also it needs to be divisible by 3. Okay. So, you have to still work within those parameters. Um, Same thing, if I'm making a 45 by 35, I subtract 35 from 45. That also gives me 10 inches. So, in theory, if I was making a 35 by 45 and I kept going, right, then I could eventually end up with a 50 by 60 size. Again, it's rough estimation, right? It's not going to be an exact on the dot 50 by 60. It gives you kind of an idea. Okay, so there is our little starting chain. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to start adding our little cluster stitches. And the first place we're going to start is right here on the edge. We need to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. We're going to work all of those into the same stitch here. Okay, so when I get finished here, I start with a chain of 3. Now, if you want to do a standing double crochet there, you could. I just do a chain of 3. I'm going to work right back into this space, 2 more double crochets. Okay, then I'm going to chain 2. Now, again, right back into the same space, I need 3 more double crochets. This is going to be the edge of the blanket. Vicky said she'll be right back, needs fuel. Let us know when you get to the soggy dog slobber yarn. No kidding, right? Okay, now I'm going to chain 2. And now again, right into this same space, we need 3 more double crochets. Here's 2 and 3. Okay, so this now is the very corner of our blanket. Here's a corner, here's a corner. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work along the side here, and I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and into the third I'm going to start placing our little granny clusters. Okay, so skip 2. Now into the third I need 3 double crochets. Corrine said I missed where the first cluster went. Okay, that's all right, Corrine. We're going to get your frogs ready. I'm going to rip this out. I'm going to show Corrine where this goes. Okay, let's be clear about this. Okay, so I just finished. Here's my last single crochet. I just put it in. Are you with me? I'm going to immediately chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as my first double crochet. Now I'm going to go right into this space. Okay, this was our little stitch here. And I do 2 more double crochets. Okay, so there is our first grouping of 3. Chain 2. Now right back into this space, we need 3 more double crochets. Okay, chain 2. If you hear what sounds like a velociraptor, it's the puppy under my chair chomping on his brother. Right back into this same space, we need 3 more double crochets. So at the very ends, you're going to do a total, pardon me, excuse me. Got a little tickle there. 3 groups, okay? So there's our end. This is a corner, this is a corner. Okay, do we got it now? So now we're going to start working on the side. We're going to skip 2. Here's 1, 2. Into the third here, we need 3 double crochets. And I'm working under both loops, okay? So 3 right into the very third stitch here. Okay, now we're going to skip 2. 1, 2. Now here's the third. Again, we're going to do 3 double crochets. My laptop has shifted again. 1 second here, guys. They keep bumping it. It's on a stand that's beside my chair, and they like to go underneath my chair. I think because I have my blanket, and they like to play underneath where I have my feet up. And then they bump everything and make my life crazy. Okay, 1, 2, skip. Here's the third. And now again, 3 double crochets. So can you see how it's starting to work itself out as we move along? And do you see how having that single crochet stitch makes this a little more sturdy in the middle? Isn't that nice? Okay, so again, skip 2. I never mind rewinding, guys, and frogging stuff out and answering questions. That's the whole point of me being here. There's one guy that I follow. I know some of you guys have sent me his videos, and he cracks me up, and I can't think of his name. Uh, Gen X knows who I'm talking about. He makes these like comedy TikToks that describe live crocheters and how they do their content. And he cracks me up. I love him. I think he's hilarious. I watch his videos and then I think to myself, oh God, I hope he's not talking about me. I really do try to share all of the information. I'm not a professional crocheter, guys. I'm a hobby crocheter. I try to come on here and explain things in a way that it makes sense to me, and I don't mind rewinding and backing things up and show. Yeah, he is hilarious. If y'all aren't following him and you're a crocheter, seriously, you would get a total kick out of his content. Maybe you could share his handle on here. um, if you guys if somebody knows his handle, because seriously, he cracks me up. I've shared some of his videos that he's made, and part of it, guys, is laughing at ourselves, right? I think when you're crocheting or doing things like this, it can be challenging and it can be hard and it can be complicated and it can be frustrating. And you have to give yourself a little grace, right? As you're learning a new stitch or as you're practicing something. And so, again, I don't mind if we need to pause and rewind and go back and talk about it again. uh, I don't care. It's fine. I want you guys to all leave being inspired about crochet. There's his handle right there. Gen X just pinned it. If you are on TikTok, seriously, go give that dude a follow. He is hilarious. He doesn't know me from a hill of beans, but I love his stuff. And I think you guys will get a kick out of it too. Especially the one where he puts on the hat. Have you guys seen that one? It's like a pink hat and he like measures. I literally crying in my chair, absolutely crying. Dude is hilarious. And, that's part of it too. You guys will see me mess up. You'll see me frog, and then I laugh at myself, right? You have to somehow laugh at yourself, or, what's the whole point? Like, you can't be so serious. So we've worked our way along the side here. Wow, y'all knocked out that goal. Thank you so much for all of the gifts this morning and all of the screen taps. We are at 29,000. Do you guys think we could get to 30? What do you think? 35,000 by the time I get off the live? Do you think that's possible? Can y'all hit your screen and do some taps for me? I think you all can beat me because I've been crocheting kind of slow this morning. But here we are to another corner. Okay, so again, we need to skip 2. And this is our stitch way down here. Okay, and I just kind of find a little space to put my hook in here. So again, we need 3 double crochets into this very last stitch here. Okay, so here's one. Victoria, have a great day. Have a good day at work. Appreciate you being here this morning for so long and hanging out. Okay, so there is our 3. Now we need to chain 2. Now, again, right back into this space, we need to chain 3, or excuse me, 3 double crochets. Okay, there's our second little group. Now we're still missing half of it. We've got to start going back on this side. So again, you're going to chain 2, right back down into this. Again, we need 3 double crochets. Let's see. Sorry, I missed some of the comments here. Somebody asked if I could make a video of this. This video will be over on my YouTube. My handle is Wheeler8Acres. Okay, you can find me over there. Anytime I go live, if you look on the live tab, you can see all of the um, replays of everything that we're working on. Um, so anyhow, if you want to look over there, let's see. Turn on his live notifications. I've caught him twice. He's a hoot. Oh, I didn't know he goes live. Oh, I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that as soon as I get off the live here. He's going to be like, what are all these April friends doing mobbing me? How did you guys do that? 35,000 already. What the heck? You guys, thank you so much for all the screen taps this morning. I can't believe you got to. I was trying to get all the way to end over here and you all tapped too fast. Okay, so this is our very end here. Um, uh, some people are just hopping on. Let me just give a little recap of what we're working on today. We started this on the live this morning. Okay, this is the piece that we made. I am working on a modern granny blanket. And we've had so many new people come on because I've been on since 7:30 this morning. And we started this from scratch on the live. So what I'm doing is I'm making another one of these from the middle, just so the new folks coming on could see how we started this. And so the way that we do this, off. The way that we do this is I started with a starting chain of 36. And my finished blanket is going to be about 35 by 45. So I'm going to now start working along this other side. And I try to place my side stitches here. See how this one aligns here? My next grouping would go there. This one I'm going to put right here. We need to have 2 chains in between, or 2 stitches in between. And I'm not doing any chains or anything. Okay, guys? So I'm going to skip 2. And now over here into the third, I'm going to do our 3 double crochets. If you missed the first part of this and you want to see, you'll be able to go back and watch this over on my YouTube, guys. Okay. User 2, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Betty says, I don't gift, but I tap. Hey, Betty, I appreciate you just sitting here watching me. And I really appreciate the screen taps. So you don't have to feel obligated to gift when I'm here. Obviously the gifts are certainly appreciated, but they're not required. I just like coming and hanging out with y'all. I do work full time. This is not how I make my income. And so, don't feel obligated. The name of this blanket is the Modern Granny, and I'm doing a rectangle size. Renee said, do you have a video about granny square for beginners? Renee, I do not, but there are so many videos out there. If you, either on TikTok or on YouTube, there is a wealth of content. If you put in granny square, you're going to come up with probably 10,000 videos of how to do a granny square. And so, I do work full time and I try to do as much as I can, but I'm not a full time content creator. It would be challenging for me to kind of do that. So I do as much as I can. I really prefer coming live and just like chatting with everybody and stuff. Nurin said, I'm doing 3. So into this one stitch, I did 3 double crochets. Then I skipped 2. So I'm going to skip 1, 2. Now into the third stitch here. Here's number 3. I'm going to place 3 double crochets. And we're just getting ourselves set up for making a blanket here. Obviously, I'm going to rip all this out. This is just for show, so you guys can kind of see how this works up from the beginning. I think this is probably the hardest part. So there are my 3 double crochets. So again, 1, 2, skip those, into the third. Now we're going to do, again, 3 double crochets. Okay, skip 2, 1, 2, into the third, 3 double crochets. Yes, my handle is the same, Wheeler 8 Acres. Dee said, "You are one of my favorite teachers. I've learned so much from you." Thank you so much, Dee. I really appreciate hearing that. That's great feedback. Again, skip 2, into the third, 3 double crochets. This is our last little grouping here. Okay, now I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here to the very beginning, and I'm going to work my way over into the corner. And when I say that, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. So I go under both bars, grab up a loop. Now I'm going to drag this loop under this one. This makes it stay nice and flat. I'm not trying to get any height on this. I'm just using this as a method to move to this corner. Okay, so there is our first starting chain, and we're on to row number 3 now. Okay. Excuse me, guys. I am getting over a bit of a cold. I've been sick the last couple weeks, so I apologize for the hacking and coughing. I know it's kind of gross. Okay, so now into this very first stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 3. What we're doing is we're setting ourselves up. This is a kind of a foundation thing that we're doing. Okay, now back into that same stitch, we're doing a single crochet. Okay, that is our new corner. Then I'm going to chain 3, skip over these 3 stitches, move over here into the corner, and again, single crochet. Chain 3, right back down into that corner, single crochet, tack it back down. There's our little corner. Now we're going to chain 3, and again into this space here. We're going to skip these 3 stitches, not working into the top, go right in between, single crochet. We're going to tack that down. Okay, chain 3, skip over the 3 stitches right into this space, do a single crochet, tack that down, secure it. Chain 3, again skip these 3 right into this space, single crochet. Betty said you could turn your work. Yes, a lot of people prefer to turn their work. And what we mean by that is for my projects, I always work from the front. Some people, when they start over here and they do their chain, they'll turn their work and they'll work backwards this way with this chain row. That is completely fine if you prefer to turn your work. There's no rules in crochet. You can do whatever you want. Thank you so much, Nurin, for the heart. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. And becoming a 50th member of the team. Fabulous. Thank you so much. Let's see. Can't catch anything over the phone, right, Katie? I know. I work remote from home, and I'll tell you, I don't get out much, guys. I go to the yarn store. Occasionally, I'll go to the grocery store, but most of the time, I just stay home and we'll go out to dinner. It's not like I have a lot of social during the day, like people that go to work, right? Obviously, the FedEx gal comes and brings me yarn, so I talk to her, and the UPS guy. But when you work from home, you don't have the amount of exposure that a normal working person would have. But the way that I got sick is my husband brought it home. His office was sick, and he's brought it home. Nurin said, "How long will you be on the live for?" So I do have to go to work. I typically come off at 9:30, which is, I think, right about now. I'm not sure what time it is. It's coming up on 9:30 here in Alabama. If you are just coming on and you missed this live and you want to go back and replay what I'm doing, you can find this on my YouTube. I'm live both on TikTok and on YouTube this morning. My handle is the same, Wheeler 8 Acres. But I am going to be coming off here in the next 5 or so minutes, just because I do have to go fill up the bird feeders and see what the dog has destroyed while I've been on the live. But we made it today without getting the puppy in our lap, so that is a plus. Here we are in the corner. So again, single crochet, do your chain 3, single crochet. Now on the side here, we need our 3 chain of 3, and then right back into the corner, single crochet, chain 3, and then right back in the corner, single crochet, and then continue working this along the side. Somebody asked today, I am using a size I9 hook. That is what matches my yarn. My little, it's kind of grungy. I've been using this for a while. It's normally a lot nicer than this. This is called Coban. And if you are familiar with, I just slide it off when it gets nasty like this. Let me see if I have another thing of Coban here somewhere. I don't know. Oh, here's one. So when when you go and you get your blood drawn and they wrap you up with the tape like this, sometimes it's colored. I use that as my little grippies, and I'll show you how I do that. It's very cheap. You can get it at Wally World, uh, any place that has pharmacy, whatever. And I just make my own little grippies. So I take a piece like this and I fold it over and I secure it. I think Diesel's ready to come up and say hi to everybody. And then I snip it off. And then I just make my own little ergonomic grips. I really like these size hooks. I use vintage Susan Bates hooks. And anyhow, I just kind of wind this around. And like I said, when they get nasty, I just throw it away. But I can make them whatever size that I want. And so there, now it's nice and and clean, and it's cheap. I've tried pencil grippers. I've tried the crochet fancy grippers. I've tried beauty blenders. I've tried them all. He stole my roll. Oh God! And look at what he left me in place. Gross. I wonder what roll he stole. I'll have to get up and see. This is what's happening with. Oh, he stole the roll of Coban. Okay, that's. I thought he stole a roll of yarn. So anyhow, that's how I make my little grippies. I just wanted to take a minute. This is the last day this week, guys, and we'll be back on Tuesday at 7:30 Central Time. But today, if you missed today's live, you can find this over on YouTube. It's a really fun blanket to make, and I'll probably be working on something like this more next week. The other thing I think I'm going to have on deck for next week is I got this cinnamon swirl cake, which I like to call the cinnamon squirrel cake because that's where my brain goes. And I'm probably going to be making a blanket with this next week. That will be the virus blanket. Okay. And the virus blanket that I'm going to do with this is not going to be square. Okay. So it's the same concept as what we're working on today. I started a center this morning, but I'm going to be doing a rectangle virus blanket, I think, for next week with my cinnamon squirrel cake. I think it'll be really pretty. So here's the center I already got started. And I just really like that pattern. So anyhow, rectangle virus, I think, for next week. And I'm not sure what else. We've had a ton of new followers this week. Welcome to all the new followers. I'm sorry I have not had an opportunity to give you guys all a shout out personally. I see you popping up. It's hard for me when I'm talking about stitches. Oh, are you bringing me back my Coban? Here we go. My Coban's back, guys. What do you think? Aren't I a lucky girl? So, anyhow, thank you to all the new followers. Let me try to get my yarn out of the way here and see if he wants to come up. He wants to come up and say hi to everybody. So, let's let him come up and say hi. All right, come up. Let me put my feet down. Okay, get out from underneath me. Come over here. You can't. Why do you have to crawl up the side like that? I don't like the crawling up the side. He wants to say hi, guys. He's been pretty good today, right? You're really struggling here. Why don't you just go down below? Okay. I don't know, guys. He's really. Come on over here. Let mom help you. Come on. Okay. There you go. Can you say hi to everybody now? Just stay right there, baby. Hi. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. You were good today, somewhat. Yeah, you were somewhat good today. I don't know. Anyhow, this is our puppy. This is the one that's been creating all this chaos today. Okay, so not only do I work full time and crochet, but I'm a puppy mom. And this is our little boy Diesel. He came in December, we got him, and he is kind of a bratty teenager right now. So sometimes my lives get a little chaotic, and I appreciate y'all bearing with me as we work through our little puppy phase. But he is a good boy. He's just kind of at that age where he's exploring and like figuring out and mouthing everything. And, he has a crap ton of toys, I'll tell you. So for the most part, he's a pretty good boy, but he definitely needs a lot of love and attention right now. So, anyhow, with that, Diesel and I are going to sign off. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Thank you all so much for being on the lives with me this week. I'm glad to be back. I've missed you all, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Bye for now. Okay.